Hello everyone and welcome to the last part of our series. In this video we will be creating a high score system as well as polishing the game and adding sounds to the game. Okay, so let's get started with the high score. So first we need a struct to hold the high score for us. Inside the struct we want two high scores, the unlimited time high score and the limited time score. Okay, so let's create a non-class and let's call it high score struct. Okay, now let's close the editor like we did in the last tutorial. And we need to go to our root folder of this project. Go to source now and look for the high score struct and delete the CPP. Then show more options, generate the residue, project files. Okay, now we need to launch Visual Studio. And we need to delete everything except for the core minimal here and the pragma ones. So we need to include high score dot generated dot age. And now we can create our struct. So use struct blueprint type struct f high score data generated underscore body. And now you property integer unlimited time score and another one for the limited time. Let's call it high score instead of score. Okay, and now we want to create a constructor for this. So f high score data unlimited time high score 0 and limited time high score also 0. Okay, so that's our constructor. We gave them a default value of 0. Okay, now let's go and launch the game. Okay, great. Now we need to include this high score inside of our game mode. So let's go here and include here high score struct, and in protected we need to create a variable for the high score, so int high score, and we need to create a struct for this high score, so f high score data high score data. Now let's go to unlimited time game mode and the timed game mode, both of them, and in here somewhere here we want to set the high score to be equal to high score data dot timed day mode. Let's copy this and paste it in our unlimited time and the begin play also here, but instead of limited we want it unlimited. Great. Now we need to create a game save object, so let's go to new C++ class and search for game save. save game, this one. Let's call it game save and create the class. Okay, now here in our game save.h, we need to include in the header here the struct and create a variable for it. So instead of public, you property f high scores data high scores, and that's everything. Now inside our game instance interface, where is it? Here, we need to create two functions. One that saves the high score, so save high score, and to take parameters the game mode type. Okay, and the second parameter is the new high score integer. And the second function is virtual void load high score equal 0. Okay, now let's override these inside our game info instance, inside of public. And here also. And here we need to include the struct, the enum, so game mode type enum, and here also. Oh, that's not equal 0, sorry. And that's here override. And here override also. So inside our save game, save high score, sorry, we need to check if we have a save game reference or not. If you have a reference to this one we just created here. So let's go here also and create a new game save. Let's create a variable for it. So new property, new game save reference equal null. So if we have it, we want to switch based on this game mode type. So switch game mode type. Okay, in case of game mode type timed, we need to create a struct with the high score. So include here high score data, and then here f high score data high scores. Now high scores dot limited time high score is equal to new high score. So the limited time high score inside this struct is equal to this new high score is equal to this limited time high score inside the struct. Then we get the game save reference. We need to include it here first. Okay, and the high scores in it dot limited time is equal to new high score also. Okay, now we want to copy this. Sorry, not this only. And paste it here and change this to unlimited time and this here to unlimited. Unlimited. I forgot the break here and the break here. And default just break. Okay. Now we save the game. So let's first include the gameplay statics. View gameplay statics. Save game to slot. And the save game object is game save reference. And the slot name is high score slot. And the player index is 0. Okay. So what's happening here? If the game is timed, we set the time high score inside of this struct to be equal to the new high score, and we set it also inside of our. We set this also here, and we break. And if it's unlimited, we do the same thing, and then we save the game to slot. Now, when we load, first we need to check if the game save exists. So if new gameplay statics does save game exist, high score slot, oh, we have one more here, okay. So if it does exist, our game save reference is equal to cast u game save, okay, and u gameplay statics load game from slot. Okay. Um, Now we check if it's valid. If game save reference high scores, the struct here is equal to game save reference high scores. So if it's valid, we are getting this game save reference high score. We are loading the game first, then we are getting this high score that is loaded, the struct, and you are setting the game instance, this one, the game instance one, to be equal to this. Okay, so now our game instance high scores, the struct, has the loaded values. However, if the game save is not valid, so else, game save reference is equal to cast u game save and u gameplay statics, create save game object, static class. Now if no, I made a mistake here. This else should be here actually, because we are checking if the save game exists, and if true, it does this. But if it doesn't exist, we create a save game object. Okay. Now in the init play, in the init function initialize, we need to call the load high score. Okay. So now what happens when the game starts? As soon as it starts, it will try to load the high score if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, it will create a save game object for later use, such as in here. Okay, it will be ready for here. Okay, great. Now we need a function again in our game instance interface to get the high score data. So let's call it virtual f high score data. Let's include it here. Okay. Get high score struct const 0. Now in the public override and return high scores. Okay, now we can close this. We don't need it anymore. Now inside our main menu widget in here, where is it? In here, in the begin, in the native construct, we need to set these values here. Okay, so let's go here, and inside the header, let's create a function here. Let's call it set high score texts, and the text parameter, the text block, uh, high score text block, and take the high score. Yeah. Okay, now high score. If high score text block, high score text block, text, text, as number, and high score. This high score. Okay. Now in the begin play, we need to get the high score from the game instance interface. So let's include game instance interface. And we need also high score struct. And here in the begin play, state a variable if word I game instance interface, game interface, instance interface, and then go to the function library. Library that game instance takes word. Now if game interface f high score data high score data equal game instance interface get high score data. Okay. Now here, unlimited time of high score. Um, oh, sorry. Set high score is the function. Unlimited time high score, and the high score is high scores data dot unlimited time high score. And the same for the limited. 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 So what's happening here is that we are first getting the game instance interface, so we have access to the high score struct from it. Then we are setting the high scores, the text here, these two. We are setting them to be equal to the game instance high score data, but the proper high score for the unlimited and for the limited. Okay. Now we want to try something to see if it's working. Let's go to high score struct and change this to 50 maybe, and this one to 12, let's say, and let's compile. Okay, so now it should be 50 by 12. Yeah, 50 and 12. So it's working. Great. Now let's make it back 0. Okay. Now we want a gameplay widget for the high score. Okay, so let's create one very quickly. User widget. Let's call it high score widget. Now here we want a text block, so class u text block, and here in public we want a function void set high score text and integer high score, and in private u text block high score text. Now here let's include the create a definition for this function. Okay. Now if high score text high score text set text f text as number, and the number is high score. Now inside our gameplay widget here, let's forward declare the high score. Let's create it here. Copy paste. Yes. Okay, and we need a function to update the high score. So update high score UI. Okay. Okay. Now if high score widget, high score widget, let's include this here. Update high set high score text new high score. Okay, now let's go and compile. and create a blueprint based on this. Oops. Let's set it inside maps. Let's take it here and here. Okay. Let's add a size box and make it 400 by 150. And inside of it, let's add an overlay and a border. Let's make the border rounded box and fixed height, maybe 20 or 30. And the outline 5. But now I want to copy the same color of this. So let's copy this, paste it here. Now let's add a scale box inside this border. Let's make it like this. And text inside the scale box. Let's give a default value of 100 or whatever, just for the look. Okay, now let's call it high score text. Okay, or 0. Okay, now I want to give it a little more design. I want to add 3 stars here to show that this is for the high score. So I'm going to import the star image and I will leave a link in the description. Okay, so the star is imported. Let's add an image inside the overlay and duplicated. This one is left image. This one is center image, right image. Or instead of image, just call it star. Okay, so center, let's make it in center, and right to the right. And let's make the image for it star. Now, let's make it 90. This one too, 90. And this one, the big one, maybe 120. And we want translation. We want it a little bit up here and maybe like this. Yeah, okay. And this here, minus 120. No, minus 90. Yeah, it looks nice. Maybe minus 100. Like this. Okay, that's how I want it. Now let's go to our gameplay and let's add the high score widget. Size it to content and change its name to high score widget. Okay, and the alignment we want on the X to be 0.5. However, on the Y, we want it to be -1. Okay, maybe it's a little big. Um, no, I think it's fine, but I want the border to make it a little bit transparent. 0.5 maybe. Okay. Now we need to update this text to show our high score. So here inside our parent game mode, we are where is it? The header here. We are getting this high score that we create this struct, but now we need to populate it. So let's go here. And include game instance interface. And inside this, if here, game instance interface, okay, and if game instance interface, high score data is equal to game instance interface get high score struct. Now we can close this. Now here, after we set the high score, we need to update the widget. So gameplay widget instance set high score or update high score UI high score. Let's copy this and set it here also. Okay, let's compile. Let's give this 12 and 41. Just to see if it's working. Okay, so it's 12 and it's 41. Great, it's working. Now we need to actually save the high score. So when do we save it? We save it when the game has ended and we have our score is bigger than the high score. That's when we save it. So first make this 0 again, and then inside our parent game mode here in the end game, we need to check if the current score is bigger than the high score, and if it's bigger, we need to save it. So here, let's copy this. Let's delete this actually and make it a class variable, not local variable. So here, in private, okay. If game instance interface, save high score, and the game mode type is game mode type, and the new high score is the current score. Okay. Now one last thing, again inside our game mode. When we update the score, where is it? Update score. Here. When you update the score, we want to check if our current score is bigger than the high score. And if it's bigger, we need to update this high score here also. We don't want to pass the high score that we have, and then let's say it's 12 and we are 13 and it's here it stays 12. No, it's not right because our high score is not 12 anymore. So let's go and update it. So inside this, if current score bigger than high score, copy this, update high score, UI current score. Now let's try. Okay, great. Oh, so when we restarted the game, okay, so that's because when we end the game and the high score, current score is bigger than the high score, we need to set the high score to be equal to the current score. Okay, so just to make sure it's working, delete your saved file. Make sure to delete your saved slot here. Just delete it. And we can try again. So let's try. Let's go to endless mode and set a new high score. Let's say 2. And now if we start and shoot and score, it will stay until it's beaten. You see? Okay, great. 4. Okay, let's make sure it's working here also. Okay. 7. Okay, great. So the high score is finally working. And we are done with the high score. Now we still have some polishing to do, like adding a background. So I will import an image, which I will leave a description for. I also made that image in Photoshop. Textures. So I will import it here, and I will leave a link in the description. So now let's go into our limited time and add a sprite. No, sorry, not like this. Let's go here into textures and create a new folder that's called sprites and create a sprite based on this. And let's drag it into the world. Let's rotate it. Okay, so if this is minus 170, make this minus 160, like this. Scale it 0.5. Like this. And let's add 2 more because, well, right now it works fine, but let's say we have a bigger screen like this. You can see the edges here, the empty space. We don't want that. Let's add 2 more to make sure we are safe. But first, let's make it a little darker. And let's copy this, set it here. But let's rotate it like this. Um, okay, that's one, and we need another one here. Middle, right, left. Okay, so the left one, like this. Okay, great. Okay, now I want to import a new font. It's basically the same one, but another type of it. So the outline is much more better looking. So let's delete this one and replace it with the new one. Okay, yeah. Now the font is way much better. And if you are facing the same problem, make sure to import the true type file, okay? Not the other one. Not true type, not open type, okay? So now a little bit polishing here, maybe add 2 for the outline. Okay. What else do we need to do? Let's add sounds to the when we launch the ball and when we score. Let's create a folder called sounds. Let's import few sounds. I will leave a link in the description. Okay, so I imported my 2 sounds. Now let's go to the ball here. Inside here, the private, let's create a U property. Edit defaults only, category equal audio, and create a U sound base. Let's call it launch sound. Now here, when we launch it, where is it? When we launch it, if launch sound, view gameplay statics, let's include it. Play sound 2D. This and the sound is launch sound. Now another one is inside our game mode when we score. So let's go to game mode here as well as here. View property. So here, if score sound, view gameplay statics, play sound 2D. Okay. Now let's assign the sounds. So here in our game mode, let's assign this one, and this, and this one. Now for the ball, when we launch it. So these sounds I got them from the previous tutorial I made about the Flappy Bird game, and I used them here. So let's try it now. Yep, it's working. Great. Now I realized that these three needs to also be in the unlimited time map. So let's paste them here. Copy paste. Okay, now let's get rid of this viewport size. So here inside our screen edges, let's remove this. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so I think that's everything, except that I want to change this a little bit here. It's fast. Maybe it's give these two a little bit of transform here, maybe 10. Yeah, yeah, now it looks better. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the whole tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed this journey. Congratulations if you have made it this far. And I hope you can support me by subscribing so I can continue making such tutorials. Otherwise, I will be honest with you, I will stop making them because they are very uh, exhausting, to be honest. So if you want to keep learning C++ and Unreal Engine, just hit that subscribe button. And thanks for everything. Thanks for watching, and take care. See you in the next series.